Hello, everyone. Zeta here. I'm on vacation this week, but I wanted to make sure you keep getting at least a little bit of content. So, what I did is I went back through the puzzles I streamed way back at the beginning, and I looked for some memorable, exciting puzzles that, at least statistically, you're most likely not to have seen, because the channel was a lot smaller back then. But these are still some excellent puzzles. So, first up here, I have the puzzle Renban Rocket by the Cogito, which is just a fabulous demonstration of the Renban constraint. And the deductions around this grid and the setting are just sublime. So, I really recommend watching this. But actually, more than a lot of the puzzles that I put up, I really recommend trying this one because this one's actually not that difficult. I bet you can make some progress on this one if you go ahead and give it a try. Thanks to all of you who support the channel, either by subscribing or through the Patreon. If you want to support the channel, you're welcome to join the Patreon at patreon.com/ZetaMath. News coming soon about channel memberships if you'd rather do it that way. Be sure to like the video if you enjoy it, and I'll be back from vacation and streaming more real soon. Bye for now. So we've got here a puzzle I've been looking forward to doing for a long time now that we finally get along to. So this is a yeah, it's funny how far back in time some of these things end up being, because the bucket is a little weird in terms of the things don't necessarily come out of it in the order that they go into it. But this one I have been very much looking forward to because, well, it is a Renban puzzle, and I like cool Renban puzzles. So we're going to do it. Renban lines mean that the digits on them form a consecutive sequence. And I see we already have a digit immediately because the first thing you learn about Renban lines, and I think people sometimes overreact to this because they think it's huge and they immediately want me to pencil mark it in every Renban puzzle I do. And I don't think it's usually that useful, but here it's going to give us a digit right away. Every length 5 Renban has a 5 on it. And the reason for that is that if you tried to make a length 5 Renban without a 5, you'd have to make it out of the sequence of digits 1 through 9 without the 5. So you'd be making 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you'd run into problems, or 6, 7, 8, 9, and then you'd run into problems. And so as a result, I know there's a 5, and the given 5 is here why I was immediately willing to do this. It tells me that there's a 5 in one of these cells. And now this is also a length 5 Renban. It also needs a 5. Well, the 5 can't go here. And the key observation is if I put a 5 here, I actually rule 5 off of the entire Renban. But I need to put a 5 in this row. And I can't, in this puzzle, put it on top of the 7. So the 5 here actually is forced to go here. And by symmetrical logic, I have to put this 5 here. So this is a perfect example of using the Renbans of length 5 have to have a 5 trick to place some digits right away. So here are our digits. All right, let's make row 5, column 5 the bet cell. So you can choose based on this information whether you want the bet cell to be a 5 or you want the bet cell to not be a 5. It should be good times either way. Alrighty, so I know some of you are collecting Sudoku tricks. Here is one of Zeta's favorite tricks, which is, where does the 5 go in this box? Well, it doesn't go there, and it doesn't repeat on the Renban. And so this is always a good trick with Renban, which is to say, okay, the digits that are on the Renban can't repeat. And so what Sam has done for us here is to let us say there's definitely a 5 in this column. And likewise with this one, there's definitely a 5 in this row. And now we have 4 5s looking into box 7. And whenever you have 4 copies of the same digit looking into a box, you can place that digit so we get another 5. And so these digits we can fill in. They are from 3, 4, 6, 7. That one's not a 7. All right, so we're already off to a reasonably reasonable start, I feel like. Now, I want to know if I'm supposed to be asking about Ah, okay. Yes, I am. Same trick. Where did these two digits go in box 1? They must go there. Sorry, they must go there. They were supposed to turn out the same color. It was supposed to be a like exciting moment, but it kind of didn't end up being one. Because neither of these digits is a 5, so they have to go there. So what that means is one of these digits is a 7, in fact. And the same thing happens not there, sadly, but the same thing happens here. These two digits have to go there. And so one of these digits is a 2. Wait, wrong? Oh, no, 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 don't listen to me. I'm crazy. Uh, sorry. No, no, sad, sad, no. Does it mean that I'm actually supposed to apply it over here? No, that doesn't work either. Sorry. What I was saying was complete nonsense, because I was saying they couldn't be here, so actually they have to be over here somewhere is what's actually true. I do that particular wrong deduction all the time. That is one of my favorite wrong deductions to make. So you'll probably see me do that again if you hang out here much. But yes, the point is these two digits, sorry, the correct statement is these two digits go here, and so then they go here, but that doesn't actually get me anything. Uh, so I don't think that's actually useful at this particular juncture. Let's see. So Sarvesh, I think, has the correct deduction, which is to note that I have a whole lot of length 4 Renbans without 5s on them. And so naively, what that tells you is that these Renbans have their digits chosen from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, except not 5, and that doesn't seem at all useful. But actually, because of the fact that they can't use 5s, these digits are either all high or all low. So yellow is either 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sorry, it's either 1, 2, 3, 4, or yellow is 6, 7, 8, 9. Now, the question is, are these digits yellow or are they not yellow? Which, seems like the kind of question that I would like to know. Oh, well, let's see. So these two digits in this box, so maybe I should say it this way. One of these two digits in this box has to show up down in this row. So one of the yellow digits actually ends up showing up on this bit. So there is a yellow in common between this length 5 Renban and this yellow Renban. So one of these two digits is yellow. And that's just by asking where these two digits go in box 2. Well, one of them could go here, but they can't both go here. So one of them goes down here, and so then the other one has to go up here. And so I can probably figure out... okay. I want to say that's going to tell me that these aren't yellow, because I'm going to be able to do the same trick that one of these digits is in common with one of these digits is in common with this Renban. So Nimazakli is asking, is it possible that both of these are yellow? Which is a good question. Is it possible that both of these are yellow? So if both of these were yellow, then they would have to be 3, 4, because note these 3 digits can't be yellow. These 3 are never yellow. Uh, so so it's maybe worth coloring. These are a 5 and 2 greens. Green just being whatever yellow isn't. But is it possible that in fact these are 3, 4? So if this were 3, 4, then these two would be 3, 4. I don't immediately see why not. I mean, I'm assuming that it's correct, that this can't possibly be that these can't both be yellow, but I can't prove it yet. But I suspect Nee knows how to prove it. Yeah, so there's 2 not yellows on here because nothing on here is yellow. I don't know. It's a question of mine too. Well, it's a very good question. It's just a question I don't yet know how to answer. Uh, ah, no, that's not useful. Yeah, 3, 4, or 6, 7 are the two. If both of these are yellow, then it could be 3, 4, or 6, 7, and that still seems plausible, although I suspect it's not what happens. Let's see. Jay says 7 can't go on the box 2, 3 Renban. Okay, so what happens if I try and put a 7 on here? Because that would be very helpful to know. If I try and put a 7 on here, uh, let's say I put a 7 here. Well, if I try and put a 7 here, I can no longer place 7 anywhere in box 3. If I try and put a 7 here, I can no longer place 7 anywhere in box 2. So I agree. There's no 7 on this Renban. The 7, in fact, is over here. Okay. And so there's a 7 up here somewhere. And as Tallcat points out, immediately the same thing is true with 2s over here. If I try and put a 2 on these cells, I block 2 out of box 3. If I try and put a 2 on these cells, I block 2 out of box 6. So therefore, the 2 is in one of these cells. Josh says that implies the Renban is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's think about this. Okay, so no 7 on this Renban. So certainly, can this Renban have a 1 on it, I guess is the question. So could this be... No, it can't be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 because this Renban has both yellow and green digits on it. But it can't have 7 or any number higher than 7. So that answers Nimuzak's question, which is that this has exactly 1 yellow. And so this is a yellow and a green up here, because this is, in fact, a 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Renban, and these aren't the 5. Okay, and now the yellow is the one there's only 1 of, so the yellow up here is a 6, which means these aren't 6. So yellow now is 6, 7, 8, 9, but these aren't 6. Okay, these aren't 7, I should also note. So one of these is a 7. Okay, now that definitely is sufficient to tell me that this Renban is green. In fact, there's a bunch of different ways you could now argue that this Renban is green. If we just apply the same argument, but replacing 7 with 2, Actually, wait. Give me just a second. Maybe this is different. 7 and 2 are different numbers. So, but I think now, yeah. So if this was 6, 7, 8, 9, I'm sure that breaks. Uh, yeah, because I was, of course, half joking when I said 2 and 7 are different numbers, but actually, 2 here is a lot weaker than 7 because 2 is closer to the extreme than 7 is. So, yeah, I don't think we actually get completely for free that this is green. Now, what we do get completely for free is that these are all green because these see the entirety of the yellow Renban. And by virtue of seeing the entirety of the yellow Renban, they can't be yellow. That cell is yellow because it is. Uh, now, okay, so there's one more green cell and one more yellow cell to be had in this box, which is interesting. Uh, uh, yeah, we know that 2 is excluded from this Renban, but I don't think it gets us anything. Uh, Yes. So we started. So Ken, we started with not knowing which of green and yellow were high and low, and then it turned out that yellow was high. And I think the impression I get from chat is that people slightly prefer it if I don't change to blue and red when I discover what yellow and green are. Although you're welcome to voice in opposition to that if you prefer the other way. But this is one of those puzzles where it sort of started with us not knowing. Uh, row 1, column 6. It has to be an 8 or a 9. Yeah, okay, so yeah. Uh, yeah, so basically, where are 7, 8, 9 in row 1? We have a 7, 8, 9 hidden triple in row 1. We know the 7 is here, so this is only 8 and 9, as those things go. Uh, so, uh, so there's not a 1 or a 2. So I can say I know that there are a 6 and a 7 on this Renban. Because there's no 2 on this Renban, there has to be a 6 and a 7. And that gets me very little. But it does tell me that because there has to be a 7 on the Renban, this cell can't be 7. And because there has to be a 6 on this Renban, that cell can't be 6. Oh, that actually did get me something. That gets me that this digit is 6. Sorry, I was besmirching the good name of that cell unfairly. So I'll go over that again just in case you were confused. So we know there can't be a 2 on this Renban. That was one of the things we showed before. So once there can't be a 2, actually, the absolute minimum that this Renban could be is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there's always a 6 and a 7 on it. And all of these 3 cells see the entire Renban. So we've actually ruled 6 and 7 out of all of these cells. And we knew one of these 2 was 6, so we got to place the 6, learn the location of that yellow cell, and then this could no longer be 7. So one of those 2 is a 7. I don't know which yet. I know now the 6 has to go in one of these cells. There we go. So the 6 goes in one of these, and this Renban doesn't have a 6 on it, so it's finally green. Okay. So we have now made our conclusion that we have wanted. I mean, it's all I've wanted. I don't know about you. Perhaps you're more indifferent. But all I've wanted this whole time is to color this the opposite color, and we can now do it. because if this Renban were entirely yellow, it would need to have a 6, and it can't because we've placed 6s in such a way as to rule 6 off of it entirely. And so if it's not entirely yellow, it must be entirely green. So these are all from 1, 2, 3, 4. These aren't 2. One of these is 2. And now we can do a dance for the delightful 6, as well as for coloring the other Renban, which I am excited about. Yes, exactly. We should do a coloring dance for the Renban. I was already doing a coloring dance for the Renban before you even asked Tallcat. But yes, we're coloring the Renban. We are happy. This is what life is meant to be: is coloring Renbans. Okay, so uh, so good news all around. One of these is a 2. Uh, all right. So these 2 green digits. Oh no, never mind. Uh, I was about to make the same exact mistake that I made earlier, and that I think Tallcat just made. Uh, row 2, column 9 is high. I don't see it yet. I do know that these are yellows and a 5, so there's 2 yellows and a 5 here now because these see the entire green Renban. So these yellows, or sorry, these cells aren't those yellows. Uh, only 2 green in row 2, box 2. Yeah, there's 2 greens there. Agree. Uh, oh, we probably need yellows here. Yep. Perfect. Okay. These cells are all yellow. Why are they all yellow? Well, they're all yellow because they're not 5 and they see the entirety of this. So for exactly the same reason that these were all green, these are all yellow. Thank you, Tallcat. The coloring is important. Uh, row 2, column 9 can't be 1, and hence is high. Uh, right, okay, right. This Renban we know the contents of. I didn't ever do this, but I should have. These 3 cells see 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And so that means that these digits are from 1, 7, 8, 9. Now I know that one's not a 7. I also now know this one can't be a 1, because if this was a 1, this Renban would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that's not going to work. So this is a 1. So this is not 1. And as Sarvesh points out beautifully, that makes this yellow, which makes these 2 green. Because the column now is done. Okay, so this Renban has 1 green digit on it. And what is the 1 green digit it has on it? Well, it has a 4 on it. That's the only green digit it can possibly have on it. So these are not 4. And so, in fact, one of these digits is a 4. Let's see. This is a 1, 2, 3. Okay, and so let me write out what the contents are, because this can't be a 9 anymore either, because this has a 4 on it, and it can't have a 9. So the contents of this Renban are 4, which we already have placed, 5, 6, 7, 8. So these are from 5, 6, 7, 8. And so in particular, this cell is never an 8, because this Renban has an 8 on it, and this sees the entire Renban. Okay, Uh, so this is a 1 or a 9, which is a very interesting digit for it to be. Uh, Now, Barbie is pointing out, if I ask where this digit appears in column 8, well, I know in this box it has to appear over here, and so now it's forced to go here, so this cell is yellow. And I can probably do exactly the same thing here. This cell is in one of these cells in row 3, so it has to show up there. So I'll just flag that real quick. We're saying that's a pair of the same digit. So this is a 7 or an 8. This is a 2, 3, 4. So now that's yellow because we need a yellow to finish off the box. That's green because we need a green to finish off the box. So that's 1, 3, 4. Oh, and spoiler, it's not a 4 because we have a 4 in the box. So that's probably a good thing to notice about life. So there's definitely a 4 in one of these for what it's worth. Let's see. I can officially gray the 5s just so that we're keeping up with our coloring. Yeah, the Renban with 7-8 needs a 6, which lets us do at least one elimination, and always good to do that when you can. In order to get from 5 to a 7 or an 8, I need a 6, so this cell's not a 6. Uh, uh, yeah, this Renban definitely can't have a 9 on it, is I think what Tallcat is saying. Oh, Tallcat's saying the opposite. This Renban, okay, so what can this Renban be? It can't have a 9 on it, because if it was a 9, it would break this cell. This cell needs to have a value. Uh, in fact, this cell sees the entire Renban. So this cell is neither 6 nor 7, because the Renban definitely has a 6 and a 7 on it. So this cell's definitely an 8 or a 9, uh, unquestionably. But Tallcat's looking the other direction, and Tallcat's saying, how many green digits can I put on this Renban? And saying, I can't possibly put 3 green digits on it. Because if I try to put 3 green digits on it, although I could never have put 3 green digits on it to begin with, I can put at most 2 green digits on it. Yes, and 7643 won't work. Because if I put 7643 on it, I'm putting 2 green digits on it, which seems fine, except it's not because I've used 4 134s. So there's no 9, but I can't use both 3 and 4, and so that means I know exactly what it is. So I need a 4, and then a 6, 7, 8. And that's exactly what this is. And since this is 4, 6, 7, 8, that is a 9. Uh, Excellent, excellent. So yeah, this is a green, a gray, and a yellow. If you want to get a little ridiculous with the coloring. Uh, and now, now as Barbie points out, now these can't be 4 because these again see this line which has a 4 on it, so those can't be 4. So that is 4. Okay. And so now we get to do it all over again because we can come back down here and say, okay, I need to have a 4 in these cells. So the 4 is up here now in one of those. If I have a 4, it means I need to have a 3. So this cell is not a no. If I have a 4, I need to have a 3. That's not how that works. That's not how any of this works. Uh, so this sees the whole Renban. Oh, sorry. I know I have a 3 and a 4. So this digit I know is a 1 or a 2. Okay. Uh, but how many yellow digits can I put on this? That's the question. And I think this is going to work out differently. I think this is where the asymmetry between the 7 and the 2, which hasn't really come up yet, I think this is probably where this is going to come up. Uh, because I could put a 6 and a 7 on here, and that would be fine. Why is box 6's coloring off? I don't know what I did. When did I do that? Is that like forever ago? That was like forever ago. Okay, we're just going to just delete the color. This was probably an accident when I was coloring something else. Uh, okay, so this is different. I could have 6 and 7 on this Renban and it would be okay, I believe. But I know at the very least these digits are not 3, 4, 5, 6. Actually, do I know there's... I know there has to be a yellow one here, right? Yes, there has to be a yellow one here. So that means that these are at least 3, 4, 5, 6, and then either a 7 or a 2. So these digits are not any of those things. So they are not, so they could be 1 or 2. They're not 3, 4, 5, 6. They could be 7, 8, 9. Okay. Uh, yes, it definitely has a 6. Oh, good. Okay, yes, it definitely has a 6 because it can't, again, thank you, Andrew. Again, can't not have a 6 because then it would have to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which would see this cell. So that's not going to work. So there is a 6 on here, which does place a 6. This is a gorgeous puzzle, by the way. This is really neat. So 6 over here. So now this digit's not a 6, and so we get a random stray color out of nowhere. There's a green digit down here, which means this can't be a 7 anymore. It also can't be a 4 anymore. So this digit can only be 3 or 6, which is very interesting. As far as things to know about digits go. Yeah, I know there's one yellow here. So I know one of these two is yellow and one of these two is green. Do I know that? I don't think I know that yet. Uh, do I actually know that exactly one of these is yellow? I have to know exactly one of these is yellow, right? Yeah, only one of these can be yellow. Don't I know exactly what's on this Renban? Why do I think I don't know what's on this Renban? Let's see. I could have... No, I could have both 6 and 7. Okay, yeah. I still could have... I could still have 6 or 7. Okay. Oh, good point. Good point, Alima. Now that we've updated our pencil marks, this digit can never be a 3 this digit can never be a 3 anymore because of that. I was just sort of blindly following this, but yes, this 4, eliminating the possibility for this to be 4, also eliminated the possibility for this to be 3. So this digit is a 4, uh, which actually places the 4 up here. Uh, Barbie says slash everyone said that. Uh, fine. I will contend, yes, everyone in chat except me saw that. Uh, so I know the 2 in this box is down here. So I know one of these two digits is a 2. Do I know which of those is a 2? Oh, and I think Medi is looking at this from the other direction. Uh, The 6 in box 2 has to go in one of these two places, I believe. Yeah, the 6 in box 2 has to go in one of these two places. So I think there's a very similar thing going on with the 2s and the 6s, but offset by a column. Ah, Tallcat has a beautiful, beautiful point. If this digit's a 2, then it places a 2 over here, which then removes 2 from being able to appear at all in row 8. So this digit is a 3, not a 2. Oh, I mean, I definitely can't put an 8 on this Renban necklace. There's an 8-9 pair looking at it. Uh, that was really nice, Tallcat. So that means there's a 3 over here, of course. Which also means that this digit is a 6 while we're at it. So that is yellow. So that was a huge deduction. This is a 1 or a 2. Sorry, this is a 1 or a 2. I clicked the wrong cell. So that makes this a... oh, I guess I knew that this was a 3 already. So these aren't 3. Uh, Knowing that this is a 3 is actually the one that doesn't define this Renban, I think. Unfortunately. If this had worked out to be a 2, then I would know what was on this Renban. But there could still be a 2 on this Renban, I think. 2 in box 3. Ah, okay, yes. 2 in box 3 is now fixed. That's the 2 in box 3. Thank you, because the 2s here looked over and the 2 there looked up. So that's the 2. Uh, and that resolves, Ken points out, that resolves the 1 and the 3 down here. Good. So that comes back and resolves the 9 there. So that's an 8. That's a 9. This is not an 8 or a 9. It's a 1 or a 7. But that being an 8 bounces back and says that that's a 7. So that's a 7. So that's a 1 and acquires grenadity. That's a yellow. I probably know what this digit is even. I think that's an 8, which coincidentally is the yellow with color. And so we get to actually do that and not have to immediately back up. So that's good. Oh, box 9 we can finish. Yes, box 9 we can finish in the same way. That's a 6. That's an 8. Okay, so 8, I think, is placed in this box. I think 8 can now only go here in this box. Just by Sudoku. 8 sees across these places and down there. So this is an 8 and has been for quite some time, I believe, actually. So that is an 8. This cell sees every yellow digit. It sees 6, 7, 8, and 9. So this cell is green. So this is a 1, 2, or 3. It's not a 2. I know because there's a 2 over here. So this is a 1 or a 3. Not sure which yet. So the question is ultimately if there's a 2 on this Renban or not. Like that is our ultimate question. These are not 7. Ah, good point. Okay, good point, Tall Cat. So these are not 7. So that lets me say that these are, in fact, a 2 and a something else. A 2 and a 7, which then, thanks to our glorious given, givens have done a lot of work in this puzzle, by the way, tell me that's a 2, and that's a 7. So these aren't 7. And that answers the question. Now we know what this Renban is, because now it can't have a 2 on it. And so now this Renban, because it can't have a 2, has to be 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm done. Sorry, I was going to dramatically add an extra digit, but it turns out I cannot dramatically add an extra digit. That would be too many digits. So now what are these digits? These digits are the other ones. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's too many. Oh, so 8. No, 9. This can't be an 8, because if it were an 8, it would put a 7 or a 9 there, and that can be neither 7 nor 9. This can't be a 3 either, because if this were a 3, then this would have to be a 4 or a 2. It can be neither. So, in fact, this is a 5. What thing does 5 Renban? 5 Renban's a 4 and a 6, but it can't be a 4, so it's a 6. So, we've got that. And so now this is yellow. So now we've got all of our yellows and our gray for the rows. So these are green. These are a 1, 3 pair. I then write the wrong thing in. Those are a 1, 3 pair. These aren't 5. Now this digit Renban's this digit on a Renban of length 4. So this can't be an 8, because I can't get from 8 to 3. 8, 7, 6, 5 is the lowest I could get. So this now is fixed. This is a 3, which beautifully, this being a 3 actually fixes that that's a 1 and that's a 3. So we get to go through and fill in all of that jazz. This being a 2 made that a 1 and that a 2. Oops. That a 1, that a 2. How about that? Shinty 6. Shinty 6 is a good number. No one should be dissing Shinty 6 around here. Let's see, we got a yellow and a green. This is a 1 or a 3. Thank you. Thank you for pointing that out. I lost track of who pointed it out. Sorry. Okay, so probably we can do some damage over here in exactly the same way. So those aren't 7. So these digits are a 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, if this were a 9, this would have to be an 8, and it can't be. If this were a 7, this would have to be a 6 or an 8, and it can't be. So this digit's a 4. I'm following up on the suggestion by someone in chat. Sorry, I've lost track again. To chase the same thing over here. So this is either a 3 or a 5. And disappointingly, I don't know if it's a 3 or if it's a 5. I probably should know, but I don't. I know these digits aren't 1, so I know this digit is 1. That's been available for a long time. This 1 looks over here and says that that's not a 1. Okay. So this 5, 7, 6. Oh, no, sorry. Don't listen to me. I'm about to say something wrong. Okay, so if this is a 9, then these would have to all be yellow. Is it possible that all of these cells are yellow? Maybe, unfortunately. If this is yellow, it's a 7 for what it's worth. But I don't quite see that it can't be. But I could ask myself, if this were a 7, 6, 5, 4, 4 is the lowest this digit can possibly be. So this digit is a 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. But it's not a 6, 8, or a 9. So I actually know this digit's only a 5 or a 7. I don't know which one yet. But I do know there's a 5 and a 7 in here somewhere. This one, of course, is not a 7. I can fill in, actually. This is a 3 or a 5. It's probably a good idea to fill that in. 8 in box 2 via Tall Cat. Yes. Good point. I caught the 1 over here, eliminating the 1 from here, but I did not catch the 8 on here, eliminating 8 from those and placing an 8 there. Thank you, Tall Cat. I know one of these two digits is a 2, and one of them is a 4. So this is a 2-4 pair, for whatever that's worth. So, I mean, one thing it's worth is it lets me color. I now see what chat was talking about when they were saying you put a 1 on a Renban. I kept thinking when people were saying you put a 1 on a Renban, they were talking about this one, which I had just found, but they were talking about this one, which then let us fill those two in, which is great. Let's see. The bet cell is withstanding much better than in the previous puzzle. I can also note this is not an 8 anymore. Yes, that's a good point, J40. This Renban now doesn't have a 4 on it. So these cells have to be from 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That one's not an 8, for what it's worth. In fact, actually, neither of these can be a 9, because if either of these were a 9, it would make both ends 7. So that's not going to work. Let's see. See Sarvesh's point. Box 5 Renban cells are all even. Ooh, that's a really slick observation. I like that a lot. This is a length 4 Renban. This is a great spot, Sarvesh. These are all in a Renban, which means 2 of them are even and 2 of them are odd, just because when you alternate consecutive numbers, it has to work that way. And so these two are both odd. So that means neither of these is odd. They are not 5 or 7, which actually means they're 6 and 8. Gorgeous. This is a phenomenal puzzle, by the way. This is not an 8. Or sorry, this is an 8, so it's not a 5. This is not a 6, so it is a 5, so it loses its color, which gets this its full color that it has been denied for so long under suspicion of being a 5. So now this isn't a 6. Sorry. Now this isn't a 6. Yeah, now this 6-8 pair tell me that this is a 4. Why is there a gray on here? I don't even know why there's a gray on here. Don't ask. This is now a 4. So it gets granity. Now these are 6 and 8, so they don't get granity anymore. They get to be bold yellow. This 8 looks down there and says that's a 6, and that's an 8. Now, this 4 looks up and says that's not a 4 anymore, for whatever that is worth. Alrighty. 6 placed in column 2. Yes, 6 placed in column 2. Just didn't follow through. I eliminated that 6 candidate, but not that one. And then this 4 actually places the 7 in the 4, and that 4 places the 2 in the 4. So let's give these their color, like that. That was cool. I need a 2 in this row. It can only go here. I'm sure there's a better way to see that, but we're going to do it that way. The better way was to do it this way. That 2 sees over here and sees that that's a 3 and that's a 2. And then say, 2 by Sudoku goes over here. That was a smart way. But we didn't do it that way. We did it an alternative way. Let's see. This is not a 2. This is a 1-9 pair. This digit is a 1, 7, or a 9, just by the row. These digits are a 7, a 9, and what? No, not a 4, a 3, I believe, if I read that row correctly. These digits are a 1 and a 9 and a 5. We still need a 5 in this row. The 5 is missing. Okay. There's not a negative constraint on Renbans in this puzzle. I have considered negative constraint Renbans before. That is that is something I have thought about but have not done. Okay. This digit is never a 7, because if this digit's a 9, then this digit's a 7. So this digit's never a 7. Also, if this digit's a 7, this digit's not a 7. Let's see. Can I do anything similar to that? If this is a 7, this is a 9. No, that's not as helpful. Oh, where is 7 in column 6? I am being asked to contemplate. 7 in column 6 is actually magically appeared here, which is going to be very helpful because what I should have said is this Renban definitely has a 7 on it. That would have been way less convoluted than the way that I actually argued it, but we'll make do with the argument that I made. And so that will do all of this damage. So we get to do some coloring. That was a great spot. Let's see. Not a 7. Okay. That 7 sees up that that's a 7. Sorry, that's a 9 and that's a 7. That 9 sees down that this isn't the 9, so 1 or a 5. This has way too many candidates marked in it. That's not a 2 anymore. That's not a 4 anymore. This has become a 2-5 pair, which means that that's a 4, and it can lose its shawl of grayness. Let's see. Leave it to directionary. Directionary will do the negative Renban puzzle. Okay. This can't be any yellow digit or 5, so this is green. And I know what green digit is. It's a 1, which makes that a 5, which makes that not a 5, makes that not a 5, makes that, which makes this a 5, because I do need a 5 in the row, as much as we might hope otherwise in this day and age, but sadly we can't always have the things we want in life. So that 1 makes that a 9. The bet cell was a 1. So 9, that's a 1. 1, 1. Those are green. Those are yellow. Alrighty, and so now we should carefully color the rest of the grid before we accidentally finish the puzzle, because that is always a risk that we worry about. This is green, and this is yellow. Okay, the grid is colored. I'm going to de-black these cells, just because I think it'll make it look cleaner at the end. And now we can fill in the remaining digits. This is a 3. This is a 9. Uh-oh, I broke it. What did I do? How far back do I have to go? Is this far enough? I know that one of these two has to be a 2. So it's definitely broken here. Oh, why did I say this had to be a 5? I have no idea why I said this had to be a 5. No guesses whatsoever. Who knows? Okay. this digit sees every yellow digit. So it's not yellow. This digit's not yellow. So one of these two is yellow, but unfortunately I don't know which of them it is. Uh, uh, ah, I should clean up this, as is being pointed out. The 1 looks over there. This makes that a 3, makes that a 1. These are a 2 and a 9. These two are a 3 and a 5. Yes, I was doing a complicated proof that cell could not be a 5. This 3 looks down and says that is the 5. Okay. Coloring time. So this is going to be green. This is going to be green, so that's going to be gray. That being green is going to make that yellow, which is going to make that green, which is going to make that yellow, which is going to make that green. Okay. Sometimes as part of these puzzles, the trick is you have to do the last bit in your head so that you finish the coloring before you finish the puzzle. Okay. So there we go. So that 1 sees that that's a 9. Alternatively, the coloring I could just use. That's a 9. That's a 2. That's a 3, which is good because it's different than it was before. The bet cell was a 1. Apologies if you had 9. It's a 2. That's a 5. Uh-oh, the column 1 colors are wrong. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. We broke the puzzle. We've got to go back. We have to go back, Kate. Okay. Okay, so that's going to be yellow. That's going to be green. No! Okay, let's try again. 9 and 1. Is it right that time? Hopefully that is righter. Yes, yes. That is my old show of choice, to pretend is a current and hip reference to make Tall Cat. I'm missing a number in box 2. Oh, people like all the numbers filled in. So we got rewarded for filling in all the grid twice, and we're still going to de-blacken these cells just to make it look a little nicer to finish it up. There we go. That did not de-blacken the cells. That only made the blackening of the cells worse. There we go. Nice puzzle. Yeah, this was a great puzzle. I love Renban. So this is a really, really nice Renban too. So many cool little steps. There's a lot of neat stuff sort of packed in here. Alrighty. I kind of don't even know what to say about this. I mean, I hope you love it. You set the puzzle. Hopefully you love all your puzzles, right? Is it knowable in advance that these two Renbans are going to not have 5s on them? Should I have seen that somehow? Like, it's interesting that neither of these ends up having a 5 on it. I certainly did not see it as I was doing the puzzle. You have a killer puzzle, Tallcat? Man, I have not looked at people's puzzles in so long because I've been doing Caterpillar and 5-less puzzles and all these sorts of things. All right, I'm going to take a quick break. Enjoy the music. Enjoy looking at the names of our patrons, who we greatly appreciate. And I will be back with some other puzzles in some amount of time.